Close your eyes, we'll figure this out. There we go. Hey everyone on the replay. It's going to take a few minutes if anyone's going to pop in to visit. So for the replay, let's play an ad. Let's play 2 ads. I am cutting some Christmas fabric to be prepared for Saturday's live stream, where I'm going to be going through and making some small Christmas tree blocks for a mini quilt. Hi everyone, welcome, welcome. I'm glad some of you found your way here. I have pulled out, of course, too much fabric as usual. I went through my Christmas bin. Let me get my leash with me and I'll show you what it looks like. I think I did a pretty darn good job. I went through all of the Christmas stuff. I have it nice and folded. Most of it has been pressed if it was really wrinkled. And then I have the small container with just thin strips. I'd like to make some calculator strips with the Christmas fabrics and also some string blocks. I want to get back to projects like that. Even if I don't make anything from it, I just want to have it, so that if I want to, I can. And it's great to have something to just sew, you know, when you don't want to really make anything. Hi, Linda. Welcome, welcome. Glad everyone's popping in. Just trying to grab a couple of things to make sure I am all set. If only I knew where I put all of my things. There we go. I hope everyone is having a nice week. I have managed to confuse myself so much that it feels like the weekend, especially since we're going live, right? So I'll put all of these away. I didn't mess with the little Ziploc baggies of stuff. And I still have this that I'll deal with at some time. But I just wanted to make sure that I had those little bits out of the way. So as I'm going through and I'm looking for things, I can pull out large pieces versus having all of those little bitty scraps getting in my way. I did not anchor, excuse me 1 second while I reach in front of you. I didn't anchor my little leash because I didn't expect that I would be walking anywhere to hopefully keep me from pulling the tripod over. There we go. All right, so I put the link down below in the description box for the tutorial for my tree block. I also pulled in some layer cakes that Missouri Stars sent me, which is why the video says it's a promotional thing. And then I have all of mine. And I know that I'm going to make too many blocks. I think I need like 25 for kitty cat stuff. 25 for the mini quilt I want to make. I decided that instead of trying to make a large bed quilt or a giant wall hanging, I can just make a smaller wall hanging or a mini quilt, and then I can have Christmas tree one. I can have autumnal. Maybe I want one with reds, pinks, and purples for Valentine's Day. Hi, Laura. Yes, I announced it in this morning's Whip It Wednesday, so if you haven't had a chance to catch that yet, that's why it's an extra surprise. I'm trying to announce them when I can, or at least a little bit ahead of time. And sorry, but I'm struggling with this cord for the microphone. Okay, leave it alone. It'll be fine. If I trip over it, then we'll have something to laugh about, right? So what I want to do is I have this yardage too. So we'll put the yardage there out of the way. Got my layer cakes. I want to start with this small pile of stuff. Some of this is from, I would say, Walmart. Maybe we'll do that fancy word and say circa, I don't know, maybe before the 2000s. Some of it's really old. Well, that's what I figured, because everyone doesn't watch it in the morning. I'm just saying that I announced it just so everyone knows, and you have to excuse my asthma's really acting up today. It's gorgeous outside, but my room has been kind of chilly, but it's starting to warm up a little bit. So I had these Christmas stockings that I started making, and before I really had any type of people that were shopping from my shop. I shows you that early on I still cut a lot of things out and didn't, make all of it at the time. So I want to make 25 blocks. So you make 2 blocks when you have 2 different fabrics, and you get 2 blocks out of it, right? Because they alternate. I didn't have time to make one, but you can check out the link and see the video and see what they look like. So if the background is this fabric in one tree, and then this is the tree, when you make the 2 blocks, then this will become the background and this will become the tree. So they're just like mirror images of each other. Well, if I make 26 of them, then that's 1 mini quilt, and I'm going to cut out too much, so I'll make more than 1 mini quilt and put the extra in the shop. It is really bad, right, Laura? It's bothering me a lot lately, and I've been struggling with it. And I shouldn't struggle with it at least until next week, because it's usually the barometric pressure that drives me crazy. But there's something in the air right now that's just going nuts. Now, I'm not going to make the same size blocks as I did in the tutorial video. I made myself a little cheat sheet here. So I'm going to cut my fabrics at 4.5 by 6.5. We're not actually going to sew anything today. We're just going to cut fabric, and then we'll sew them on Saturday's live stream, the one that's actually scheduled. I have my little bin here to put all my fabrics in. Now I'll still need to cut fabrics for the tree trunk. I'm like, stem, bark, that's not it. I'm going to draw a little picture of the tree, of the blocks, so you guys get an idea of what we're cutting today. I want mine to be tall and skinny this time, but I'm still working within, the certain size parameters. I don't want a big tree, but I want it to be tall and skinny versus, this is a really bad picture. So let's see, we'll get rid of that. So I don't want to have like a huge trunk. But when we do it, let me show you. Okay, so we're going to cut this entire block out here today. But when I go to sew it, I'll be cutting this bottom piece off because I want this background to match all the way around. I could just use 1, 2, 3, 4 different fabrics, but I want it to kind of match because my fabrics aren't like similar. If I was using a low volume fabric for all the backgrounds, then I wouldn't care if they didn't match. So I'll need to cut this out of some brown fabrics. And then, so if we're using this example again, so on tree number 1, this would be the red snowflakes, and this would be the Florida Santa and reindeers. And then block 2, it would just be opposite. So we're going to have all of these backgrounds, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, then just kind of hang out with us and chat today, and we'll go from there. Oh, the weeds are terrible, right? It's crazy. Oh, you have a basement. We don't have a basement. Yeah, I was wondering too that, because it seemed to be like a delayed reaction to all of the weeds that we got, because it'd been a few weeks since it rained. But I guess here in Florida, if it rains in the morning, you can have your grass, you can watch it grow in the afternoon and evening. It's really a quick situation. But here it seems to take longer, I guess because the ground is firmer or something for all of the weeds and plants and stuff to grow. I actually have corn growing in my backyard from the bird seed that I put out. I haven't had bird seed out for at least 6 months, and it just keeps growing corn. I'm letting it grow this time to see if they'll actually get corn on it. We won't eat it or anything. I just want to see if it'll grow. It's probably, I don't know, maybe a foot or more tall right now. All right, so I want to cut all of mine at 4.5 by 6.5. So I just have my 6.5-inch ruler. And because of scraps and stuff, I like to go ahead and cut, if I'm going to do 4.5 inches wide and 6.5 inches tall, I'll cut straight across here. Now I could stack these up and cut it, but I don't know which ones are going to go together. So I'm just going to cut a whole bunch of 4.5 by 6.5 inch rectangles and then go from there. Wow, that's a lot of water. A foot of water in the basement. 5 inches of rain in 10 hours is a lot for Arizona. That much I have learned. So I'll have my scraps, my little extra pieces there. I don't have a rhyme or reason. 2.5-inch strips go into the larger container, and sometimes a 2-inch strip will go in there. If it looks wide enough, I'll put it in the big container, so that'll go in there, and all the little bits will either go in the trash or into the smaller container. So I need to pay attention. 4.5 inches wide and 6.5 inches tall, and I want it to actually be accurate, so I'm going to measure everything properly. I had to use my inhaler for my asthma, and it makes my hands shake like crazy. So I'm trying to be careful. I think it also messes with my brain a little. Now, I'd rather have my pieces a little bit larger and have to trim them down than have them too small. And well, I could always just put it into the scraps and start over. So I'll just put these in here, and I'll just start making a collection. And I have it over here sitting next to me in my sewing machine chair. This, let me see, we'll put these over here. We'll put that over there. Now, some fabrics, I have my iron out too, but I think I can get away with not ironing. Some fabrics really won't work for this project. I'm using this one because I found this smaller scrap. I think I have yardage, and it's just a really fun fabric for me. I like that it has the flamingos and the penguins and Santa and reindeer, and then it also has palm trees and fish and stuff like that. These are not heavy at all. Let me pull out the other ones, see what they feel like, and I'll do a comparison. Okay, I started out using the Olfa. Now, this is heavier. Well, you know what? Let's be fancy, because we can, right? I want to say that the Missouri Star rotary cutter is twice as heavy as this, but I don't think it really is once it gets down to it. But I love it. If I were to buy a new rotary cutter right now with the knowledge that I have today and no other knowledge, I would buy the Missouri Star one again, simply because I love the roller balls in there. It just works really well and glides so nicely. I think we'll have to switch to, let's go to grams. I think that's going to get a little bit better. So we already have the blades in both of these, and I don't think the blades weigh that much difference. So the Olfa rotary cutter is 60 grams. We'll do it in ounces too, just because we can. And this one's 94. So if we switch to ounces, the Olfa is 2.2. And this is 3.3. So I don't think it's very significant, but it has a nice weight to it and a nice balance. I mean, I don't think I can balance it on my finger because it's wider here, but you can really kind of rotary cutter just simply. You don't have to like work too hard at it. Where sometimes with this one, I find that even with a new blade, I really need to put the effort in, because this one spins even without the blade out, and this one sits perfectly still. So this one with those ball bearings in there, it's so much smoother. $200,000 due to the basement damages. Wow. Oh, for the 60 millimeter, let's look at that. I don't have one to compare it to, but so the 45 was 3.3 ounces. I feel like this one feels even better. Maybe it's just because it's larger. I use this one a lot. So when I'm cutting through more than 4 pieces of fabric, that one weighs 4.6 compared to the 3.3 ounces. I think the 60 millimeter, I use it a lot, and I didn't think I would ever use a 60 millimeter because I don't normally stack fabrics, but this goes through so smoothly that I don't find brand new blades still will drag when you're going through too many layers. But with this one, I do press it down and cut backwards for the first 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, and then I cut through. You know how sometimes when you cut fabrics, the part you're cutting off sometimes scoots forward? I don't have that problem with these. I don't know if that helps you at all. That's just the things that I've noticed. And I can honestly say I would spend the money and get another one of these if I needed to. And I didn't think I'd like these, but I love the scissors. I've actually been pulling these out and using them more and more. I still prefer the Kai scissors for cutting through zippers and stuff. And these are the Ginger scissors, and they're really nice and fancy, but I find that they're too heavy at the back end here. So when I go to just cut one piece of fabric, I always end up veering off, and it's not a very even cut. And I keep the smallest pair because they sent me the triple set, and I use this for trimming the threads when I'm done sewing a project. I still keep these scissors just to trim, to cut the thread off the sewing machine, but to clean everything up, I use those scissors from Missouri Star. Yeah, that was the whole thing, that they said they have roller balls in here, and it makes it just makes it smooth, and it just rolls so nicely. Oh, the Kai scissors are great. Jody sent me a set of them, and I love them, but just for the everyday stuff, I don't always reach for them. And I try not to do things like I cut batting with specific scissors and rotary cutters, because some things will dull things faster than others. I just have to double check. 4.5 inches wide. I think I will just do it this way because with talking, I'm going to end up confusing myself, and then I can always trim the fabrics up after. Or I can go like this. I just like straight lines on my scraps. I don't care if it's a perfectly, even and level and all of that stuff. I just want them to be nice. Where was I going with this stuff over here? Y'all can hang out together. 4.5. Now you can put tape, some washi tape down to remember which numbers you're using. Doesn't help, on the bottom, of course, it's just 6.5. But yeah, when I go like this, I usually cut and I hold it, and I put my elbow on my ribs, and I'm kind of like, gritting your teeth. But with this, I just kind of hold it up and go like that. I don't even have to do that 45 or anything, and it just cuts really well. And I'm not making any money if you go and purchase it, so I would consider that to be an honest answer, right? Now, some of these, I was going to start with 6 inches, so some of these might be just at 6 inches, so they might not work. I think if I were to make a quilt with this pattern or these blocks, I would either offset the rows, which I might do with the mini quilts, so you put a little piece of fabric on the top, to offset it a little bit in the bottom, or I would make different size trees throughout the quilt, just so that the forest isn't all lined up perfectly. This is a great project for charm squares or layer cakes if you want the bigger trees, because if you're going to make a king size quilt, you're not going to make it with little 4.5 by 6.5 inch blocks. You're welcome, Laura, anytime. Yeah, they have the 60, the 45. Close that one up. Then I also have, what is it, a 28? And I haven't really played with this one much yet because I have that mini folding one that you can take when you're, like if you're cutting up a bunch of little things or you're going to a class or something. I think this one's really fun too. I cut a piece of fabric with it, but I haven't actually cut anything with it. Now, when we're talking scissors, these are, what is it? Karen K. Buckley, I think is what that says. These scissors are amazing because they're serrated. Right here, it's a serrated edge, so it holds the fabric while you're cutting it. I think I will use these. It'll probably dull them and I'll be sad and upset, but I think if I were to be cutting felt again and making, like when you hand sew felt with embroidery floss and stuff like that, I think I would use these scissors because it holds the fabric. So if you're doing like hand applique, I think those are really good scissors because they grip the fabric and it makes a nice, sharp, even cut with it. Then I just keep everything in a drawer next to me so I can grab whatever I need. Ooh, cutting flannel, yeah. And remember, you can always get, well, they have blades at Missouri Star, but if you have, hey, we're not going out, we're doing a live stream, you're staying in the room, S'moresies, go find something to play with. Cats always want to do something when I'm busy. Like sometimes if you have just whatever rotary cutter and you want to put a better quality blade in, because the blades do have different longevity. I don't know if I've been cutting more fabric lately, but the Missouri Star blades, I seem to be going through them faster than the ones that I buy. I buy like, what you can get, like the titanium ones or something. I think those last longer. So you have to kind of pick and choose also on that. Yeah, keep an eye on, Laura. You with Black Friday and everything coming up, you never know what they might have on for sale or when they're going to do it. I don't know if they have one smaller than the 20. See how it just spins? This is a 28. It does go around. Oh, it's also not tight. When you first get them, they seem to come loose a lot, but now that I've been using mine for a while, maybe the lint went in there so it's not crazy. It doesn't come loose anymore. I would, that's good for going, like when you're going in around the small curves, like on a template, or if you're going in, like I have those circle template where you fold the fabric in half and you go in the groove. You need to have the smaller ones for that. Yeah, the dogs are crazy. Now, granted, she does this a lot at this time of the day, but I warned her earlier that we weren't going to be going out because Mom has to work. And S'mores is the one with the digestive issues. So if she happens to have a little turd drop, I want to make sure I can pick it up before anyone else goes out into the kitchen area or something. So she doesn't get to go out unless she's being supervised. So my apologies to her. I know how to fix it. Watch this. Well, you can't watch it, but who wants a treat? Do you want a treat? You want a treat and then take a nap? Mom's got more treats coming today. I had to order some. There's some for you. How about you, big girl? You want some? Yeah, you do. Here's some for you. Edu Mimoka, you coming out? Are you sleeping? There you are. Come here, Mimoka. There's your treats. Now, can everyone please leave me alone? The cats are really good at knowing a routine. And if I do a certain thing, then they know, you know, as soon as I stand up at night, like after 9:30, and I get up, go to brush my teeth or use the restroom or something, my girls know, okay, we're getting ready to hunker down for bed, so they all settle in. And this randomly going live thing is new to them, so they're not used to it. All right, I apologize because with the allergies and stuff, I can't see very well. Is that Dora Lee Trent? I don't think the cats are going to want me. They've been in a lot of my videos. Right now, they're not going to want me to pick them up and put them up here, so I'm not going to pester them. But they do like to pop into different videos. So you can get Mimoka. Hello, Mimoka. Oh, what's up, big girl? What's up, big girl? Oh, sorry about the microphone. This is Miss Mocha. Miss Mocha likes to be on my table when I'm working, but not when I put her up here, because then she's like, woof. She's my skittish girl. She's the one that was sick recently because she had a stress bladder. So we'll put her down. And the other two have gone out of reach, so they're smart enough that they disappear, that, you know, they're gone. Yeah, S'mores was born with her intestines blocked. So she had to have some special balloon treatments to open up her intestines to allow her to poop and such. So with all the scar tissue that I don't know how you're born with scar tissue, but I guess, you know, she was born with scar tissue. This one confused me because it looks like it's got straight edges already, but I'm going to cut it anyways. So she wasn't supposed to live, and I think I said she's 10 now. So she's done a really good job, and we've done a good job keeping her alive and healthy for the most part. We used to have some problems, but they said as she got older, of course, her digestive tract and everything would grow with her, so it's gotten a little better. But I have to keep an eye on her. Like, she's doing something she shouldn't right now, of course. Because they know. They're just like kids. They know when you're distracted and you're doing something, and they can get away with something. I've been looking at these and spinning them around, so if one side is narrower than the other, I don't want to push my luck. It looks like it's just shy of 6.5 inches, so I'll just do it this way. And I'll cut across the top. She's clawing at the inside of her house is what she's doing. I have a cardboard piece that they can, just a rectangle that they can claw at to get rid of some of their frustrations. But she eats the cardboard. Of course, the cat with the bad digestive system will eat the cardboard, and then I'll have to give her extra medicine to make sure she doesn't get constipated. So I only bring that out every now and then, and I didn't think to bring it out today for her. Now, Miss Mocha is sitting behind me. I had to bring in some plastic Rubbermaid tubs to... All right, excuse me, I have to lean forward. All right, so this one was... I don't want to put it sideways, but this one was one of the ones that was just over 6 inches and not 6.5. So I've got more of that. I can always put that over there. Same thing with these fabrics. I just grabbed them before I knew exactly what I was going to do. This is one of the Walmart fabrics. It's one of my favorites with all the sparkly. Now, I'll be honest, when I go, if I put it this way, the snowmen are going to be sideways and stuff, but I'm okay with that. When I know I'm going to make more than one wall hanging. So when I make mine is going to have all of my favorite fabrics, of course. And then the second and or third wall hanging will just have whatever, because, you know, they have meaning to me. I always feel a little guilty keeping the good stuff, but another ad. But the good stuff is only good stuff because it has meaning to me. It's not like different or anything. Yeah, the snowman, I love the different snowman fabrics. It's so cute. Now this one, if it's not the right size, I'll be happy because I feel like I don't want to cut this one. And I'm right. I feel like this one just needs to go on a project as is because of the stockings and everything. This one's another Walmart one. Smorzy, Missy, knock it off. When Walmart had bolts and bolts of fabric and they looked like Joann's and Hobby Lobby with all the metal racks and the little spinny carts and stuff, after the holiday or the seasonal fabric, whatever it was, this stuff would go down on sale for $1 a yard. I was making reversible A-line dresses for little toddlers and stuff. So my husband and I would go down and we buy like 5 yards of all of the fabric because it's only $1 a yard. So we stocked up a lot, and I'm just now slowly going through and working through the scraps of it. I don't have any yardage left. Hi, Tammy. Welcome, welcome. And welcome to everyone who's watching on the replay. And for those of you that aren't popping in and saying hello to all of our little hiding people there. I do the same thing, our lurkers. I just kind of watch while I'm working, so welcome, welcome. And if you pop in and say hi and no one says hi to you, say it again a few times because sometimes the chat just gets going a little fast, and I don't think anyone means to ignore you, but if it's in the middle of a conversation, sometimes your comment will get missed as everything's going by so quickly. And I'm notorious for putting my head down and missing most of the chat. So I apologize if you're not noticed right away. If no one sees you after the second comment, just put a whole bunch of capitals and we'll catch on to you really quick. We'll see you, I promise. I have a lot of good stuff, but I've been trying to cut into them. Yes, exactly, Laura. I've been taking my good stuff and putting it into levels of good stuff. Is this really good stuff or not? So I have my butterflies and my flamingos, but when I have yardage of it, then I go ahead and I'll cut a little bit off and save the rest. I love striped fabrics, and this happened to be in the bin, so I thought, you know what, why not use it because it's not large enough. See, the universe made a decision for me. This is another Walmart or Joann's fabrics because back then Walmart and Joann's had the same fabrics, and I love the snowflakes. I have this in blue also that we've already cut. Yeah, it's basically about the same. The snowflakes are just a little bit different, but so many of them are also the same. So that's a really fun one. I like snowflake fabric. I do. I am cutting 4.5 by 6.5. I put a link in the description box for the tree quilt block that I'm making. And it's where you put 2 pieces of fabric together. I'm going to cut off the bottom part for the trunk. And then you make 2 cuts for the tree. And then it's just mirror images. So you'll have 2 fabrics. They'll be opposites. So the background will be, red snowflakes and the tree will be blue snowflakes in block 1. And then an opposite of whatever I just said in the next block. I'm going to be making the blocks during the live stream on Saturday, but since I had to prep the fabric, because I don't want to waste the live stream on Saturday cutting fabric. But since I'm trying to do 10 live streams before December 15th in order to qualify for a red YouTube hat, or it's a YouTube hat, I'm just assuming it's red, I just thought I'd go ahead and do this. Some of you guys have asked for more live streams, just random. Sorry if my head or anything pops in. This is just at 6.5, it looks like, so. Now you can make your tree. I wanted a bit of a skinnier tree and tall versus just like an equilateral type triangle. Is this the right size? Yeah, I think that's good. The way I sew, I don't know if it really matters anyways. So I just want to have a bunch of this cut. I've wanted one of these for a bed quilt for a while, but I don't use that many bed quilts, so I think I'm going to make wall hangings. That way I can have Christmas trees and Halloween trees, maybe a mini wall hanging of trees that are only like the browns and the goldens, like when you're changing in the autumnals and the leaves are starting to fall, because I never get to see. Okay, all of these are going to be too small now because I was going to cut it at 6 inches and I wanted 6.5 instead. So I can have all of those, and I can just have all purple trees or something like that. All of these, I think at some point will probably just get turned into a string block because I don't make stockings like this anymore. S'moresies is right back at the door. The little brat. And then I have these big stockings. I don't know if we've already cut this fabric, but you know what? If I'm going to make more than one quilt, then it doesn't really matter. Hi, Gwen. So this is where I'm at. Just going to cut a bunch. And you know what? At 4.5 by 6.5, even if I decide, see, some of these are going in the opposite direction. I'm going to get the big rotary cutter out for these. Like, I don't think Santa is, I'd have to like fussy cut. And then if Santa was in the center, you would like cut it out. And I guess he'd be in tree on one and not on the other, but I'm just going to pull him out. I can always use these blocks, you know, as, let me check these. I can always use them, you know, for another project. I like to make patchwork Christmas ones with 1.5 or 2.5 inch squares, or they can go into any type of project. It's a decent size to still use it, right? I went and did a whole bunch of math just to kind of decide what I wanted, and when I came up with a number, then I changed it because that's how I roll. All right, so I'll start here just by cutting out a 6.5 inch square. And that's when you bring out the big guys. So with this, I will push down and roll backwards just to keep it from bunching up at all. I find that that works really well for me. And then it just glides right through, no problem. Let me take that side off. I'll go over. Sometimes I have to lean over the top because there's a glare from the lights that I purchased. The ball bearings in there, see how it just makes it spin all the time? Sometimes it feels like it's loose even though it's not. And it just, if you cut all the way to the edge, it just glides right through nicely. This is a Missouri Star rotary cutter and blade. And then they'll have fancy ones. They have some that say like a quilting slang on it, something silly and fun, or they might have a holiday blade or something. If it's the same price, I don't mind, but I'm not going to spend extra just for it to say something because I don't pay attention to it that much. I mean, fine, it's probably good sitting in a video, but for the most part, I don't worry about it. So there's the extras, and then all of these can go. I like to remind everyone because I've noticed that sometimes people have been quilting for a while or new quilters. Don't forget can you see how dark this is up here? This is all of the dings and nicks from cutting in this area. I spun my mat around because Once you have a bunch of grooves that you can see and feel in your mat, it's going to dull your blade. And a dull blade doesn't cut very well. A dull blade will also make big gouges in your mat. So I turned my mat all the way around, and right here, I know it might be a little hard to see, but these are all black Sharpie numbers where I just wrote the numbers. Instead of going 35, 34, I wrote 1, 2, 3, 4 on the 3 sides so that I can use the numbers still. So this side was all new a few weeks ago, and then this side is all used. There is another side to it, but it's a light gray and it's a little bright in the videos, so I don't use that too much. But there's another mat underneath this black bit right here. That's an old mat, and I pulled the top one off, and I use that one when I cut batting. So that way the batting, if it gets in the grooves, it doesn't ruin it when I want to cut fabric. So that's what I do. This is what I just cut. I think so. I want this. This one's fun. The green's not my favorite, but I love gingerbread houses. And this one's Christmas trees. And there's a snowman. And for a while, a lot of things were on this green. So gingerbread man. I love this candy fabric. I enjoy working with it. So even if, I think I'll do 6.5 this way and 4.5 this way. It's just nice to work with it, even because I can only own so many things, right? I want to make sure everything's kind of lined up here, just so I don't cut one a little short. And of course, I'm cutting doubles of everything now. But this has just been sitting in my holiday Christmassy bin for all of these years. So may as well use it up, right? So let me see if I cut it this way. Yeah. Close you, open up you. Just checking the chat. So I'll push down. That one's a little bit tough because I do have all of those layers and I wasn't starting at the edge. Scissors, scissors. So those of you who have seen the Whip It Wednesday video this morning, those Santa scissors, if you made it towards the middle and end of the video, they are so cute. I did all of my Fat Quarter Shop posting for this month. I have it all scheduled and stuff, so those will be coming up in the community area. I did place a little bit of an order for myself. I thought if anyone wants to join me, I'm going to go ahead and just recut that area just to double make sure everything's good. I found some of they have this rose foundation paper piecing. I don't do foundation very much, but I've made the rose block before with my patrons, and it's real easy for me to get a little bit crazy on it. So I thought it would be fun to use the foundation pieced version and make some fun colored, like all pink, all purple type things, and use up some of the scraps. And then the woven star, I think it's called. That one is a foundation paper piece, and that one looks fun too. I see it a lot where other people make them for their quilts, and I thought, well, I want to make some too. So I already have all of these, and that's just from cutting those scraps. So for this, let's just take that off. And all of these can go back in. They are sewn because this was, I think, the lining, or one was the lining and one was the outer. And I think that was, I had so many more because it was before I knew and remembered to reverse the other side. So I had a big hot mess there. But I'm going to keep cutting anyways for just a little bit more. We don't need to stay on super long. Does it show me how long I've been on? No. Oh, no. Up there, about 44 minutes. Yeah. We'll go a little bit more. I don't want to have a super long live stream. So does anyone have any questions or comments or discussions before, in the next 10 or so minutes we stop? I want to get some of these fun ones that I'd purchased from Joann's before moving to Arizona, just to have that nice contrast against some of the other ones. And for me, I love this fabric. It's not exciting. I just like that it's a black background and I love Christmas lights. So I have that, and I also have it in white. But I just want to add some fun, newer fabrics in too. Some of my beloved cardinals and the fun gnomes. And I love this fabric, so I grabbed as many yards as I could. I don't know if they make it anymore, but I have a whole bunch of smaller bits in here, so I'll cut just a little square or two out of that, or rectangle. And I guess this fabric was mine. I must have bought it or someone sent it to me, because this is that one fabric with the music notes on it. And if I make it into the layer cakes, then great. And if not, it's no big deal. When I'm done with the live stream, I'll go through and I'll count up all the fabrics to make sure I have enough to make 2 or 3 wall hangings. So if anyone wants a wall hanging made and you want specific fabrics in it, whether it's squares or the trees, just send me an email. And if you can do a screenshot, or put it on your computer and take your phone and take a picture of it that way, or tell me exactly what time you saw the fabric at during the video, and then I can make you a quilt using the fabrics that you love too. We'll have to talk a lot and go back and forth a little, and I know how annoying that can be sometimes, but we can figure it out. I'm always up for something like that. I'm also working on a custom order for some wrist cuffs. I have a couple of blue jewel tone batik fabrics, and then this really fun light fabric is lining. So I'll be sewing those up this afternoon. This fabric right here has been quite interesting. It's a cardinal fabric, so it's a red on red, and it has sparkle in it. I ended up washing all of this because when I iron it, it gets red on the iron, but it doesn't bleed. I used color catchers. I washed it 2 or 3 times. I washed it by hand. It does not bleed. I washed some finished projects with it, and it's just, I don't understand. The red rubs off on my iron, but it doesn't bleed. So I've been saving this since it's a cardinal fabric. I've just been using it in my projects. So if something happens, it's not a big deal. Little scraps may have gotten into a couple other projects, but for like full-size blocks and stuff, I've been keeping it for myself. So if anyone understands how that works, I'd love to know. I don't understand. That's not part of my knowledge base, right? When you're doing the same cuts like this all the time, you can move to a different part of your mat, or you can have a smaller mat that you lay on top. So like when you're trimming half square triangles or something, I like to bring in a small mat. Sometimes it's just like 6 by 8, or you can just get a smaller mat than this, and you can do all your trimming on that mat, and that way you're not creating grooves in one spot. Because I don't know about you guys, but I can't remember to move around when I'm doing stuff like that. Now for yardage, normally for regular fabric, I don't like to just cut out of the fabric like this. If I were to cut here, I would cut a whole 6.5-inch strip, and I would take this and put it into my smaller scraps. But for holiday fabric, it doesn't bother me. I like to just leave everything together because there's a better chance that it's going to get used. So I want 4.5 by 6.5. Direction doesn't matter. And then I'll just take this and I'll fold it back up. Take all the scraps, get rid of them. And then I'll put this back on the shelf. Because I know for me that my holiday fabric, it's just whatever it is. It's never, this is a yard of this and this is a half a yard of that. I normally would iron this, but it's not super wrinkled. It's not too bad. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, you know how like red fabric, when you iron it, it turns like darker and stuff? It's just a strange thing. And if this irons, when I press it, my iron fell asleep. It's over there and I don't want to wake it up, being lazy. If the size is incorrect, then I can always cut a new piece. I do want to make some more scrappy projects. Just when it comes to the holidays, it's kind of hard to know exactly what people might want compared to, like if I were to make a basket or a placemat, it could be used year-round versus just something that, you know, it's only for Christmas. Okay, so I have this weird, oh, I think I just made doggy bandanas with this or something maybe. Oh. What the heck is this? Can you see that writing on there? I'm confused because RS, my name is Robin Suzanne, so that confused me. But it has a whole bunch of numbers on there. It's $9.20 an hour? Holy cow, what the heck? I don't think I ever opened this all the way up, and I don't know if this is Hobby Lobby or if this is Joann's. That's crazy because now I've lost that chunk, and normally I don't care about things because I use small bits, but that's only if I caused a problem. If someone else causes the problem, I'm a little bit perturbed. They do get super hot, don't they? Yeah, everyone does their own color schemes, and even within them, you have like traditional red. I'm going to save the salvage because I've got a project coming up for that. So I'll be able to sneak a little 4.5 by 6.5 over here. Oh wait, this is directional. I need to be careful. So I have to see if that comes off. Excuse me. It's like it's an orange marker. Oh my goodness. All right. Nothing we can do about it. We can be perturbed and also ignore it. I haven't gotten into, right, you kind of stay with what you're used to. I am really in, right? Hi, is it just Tony? Hi, Tony. I don't get it. Why did they do that? Um, 22-12-2022. Oh my goodness. I'm perturbed. All right, let me sneak over here. I've been wanting to get a tree again because I haven't had a tree in a few years, and I haven't wanted one. That's why I bought that wreath last year. But I got to thinking, because like, where am I going to put a tree? The cats will go up it anyways. I don't have a lot of floor space. But I thought down there in the corner where I just stick stuff out of the way, if I can get a skinny tree, then I can have a tree right here on the table, which means that I can see it all the time from here. And also at night when I'm over there knitting and watching TV and falling asleep in my chair, I can have a commercial. I really appreciate you guys when you put up with the ads. Sometimes I'm the only one that gets the ads, so that's good. I try to remember to come back afterwards, and YouTube has ad slots, and on a live stream they put an ad slot every minute and a half, 2 or 3 minutes, and it takes 24 hours for the video to upload through the whole system. So I try to remember to go back and get rid of most of those ad slots, and I apologize because I tend to forget a lot unless someone reminds me, especially now with these little bonus ones popping up. I don't know. Let's see, gingerbread trucks. It doesn't say by Fabric Editions. I don't know. I did Hobby Lobby and Joann, so I don't know which one did it. And it would be location based, I would assume, unless it came from the factory or something. But that's crazy. I put ornaments at the bottom of the tree for them to bat around, just the cheap plastic ones. I'm sorry, I got sidetracked on the whole tree thing. They can play with, but Little S'mores likes to go up in the tree and sleep in it. And Whiskers, my old girl, we call her Fat Cat because she's a little chunky. She likes to chew on the plastic tree. So I was thinking if I got a little one over there, and I want to go by color. Like maybe I just want blue ornaments on it, and maybe I should just get like white lights so it'll always match. And with a small tree, I want it to be full. You know how you can get those 4.5-inch trees and they're all kind of like and they have a long stick on the top that does nothing. So I would like a skinny full one. It can be 4.5 or 5 feet. I have 20-foot ceilings, so even on the table I have room, but there's no sense having a super tall one. But if I did that, then this year maybe I want blue ornaments. Next year maybe I want green and white, or I want pink and aqua. And to buy a set of ornaments, like Hobby Lobby has them 50% off most of the time before Christmas, let alone after. I could just slowly build up a collection because I wouldn't need that many ornaments on a tree that size also. I appreciate that, Laura. I think it's kind of nice to say, thank you. Thank you for supporting me. I apologize for all the ads. YouTube determines the ads. But, it's a way to support my channel, even if you don't watch the ads, because I don't watch the ads most times either. I had my tablet running in here, and I had headphones on, and I was out in the kitchen, I don't know, getting a drink or lunch or something, and I thought I accidentally changed the channel because there was a Peppa Pig episode playing in the middle of one of the videos I was watching. See, now this one would be great for the inside or the outside of the tree, really, to kind of have some lighter fabrics and some darker fabrics. I like to have the variety. This is definitely more of a novelty thing. You guys tell me, are we done, or should we just keep hanging out and rambling for a little bit more? We can go 15 more minutes to 2 o'clock, or we can finish up here. It's up to you guys. I wanted these to just be a half hour, 45 minutes, but we all know that that's not going to happen. Plus, I have like a couple hours worth of cutting involved here. But once you're done and you have everything prepped, the sewing is just chain piecing, right? I can go ahead and cut a bunch of trees and then chain piece a bunch of trees, and cut a bunch of trees and chain piece. Ramble on. Okay, we'll ramble for a little bit more. And if it goes past 2 o'clock, my apologies. That just means I forgot to look up and see what time it is. I have a lot to do today, tomorrow, the next day, but I don't have a lot to do, and I don't have any exact plans other than this. I'm not going to make this many trees on Saturday anyway, and I want to go through before Saturday and pair up. So this, I like to keep that a little bit like that. This will go into my smaller bin while these goes these go into my larger bin. Yeah, I want to pair my fabrics up so that in the end, I don't end up with like these two together. I want to have a nice contrast. You know, I might not want these two to go together, but maybe if I want the dogs with, I don't know if I have paw prints somewhere, but maybe I want to match certain things up so that there's a better balance to everything, right? Hi, Quilting Terry. This is another favorite. I know, I'm almost pretty sure this is a Joann's fabric. It doesn't matter, but I know I bought it in Florida. I think I actually bought this and then went back and got more because I used up a lot of it before we even got to Christmas. Whoops, didn't even cut this one. This one is like just whatever. It's a nice little low volume. It's not something that I planned. So normally with the fabrics, when it has something like this, I'll come through. And even though they're both going to be in the same scrap container, I do like to keep them separate just to help keep everything a little bit neater. And remember, this is my way of doing fabrics and stuff. My scrap system doesn't have to be the same as yours because I do different types of sewing than you might do. So if you're really into a bunch of like quilts and stuff like that, and I'm more into doing scrappy stuff, what I save, we had a big discussion recently on Instagram, what I save for fabrics, you know, is probably different than what you would save. And I tried cutting all of mine in the Bonnie Hunter system, 1.5, 2.5, 5-inch squares and stuff like that. And that didn't work for me. This one I'm going to put, I have this little glass bowl when I was going through the scraps and a couple like triangles and bits that I might want to make a fabric postcard with. And, you know, I find that I just like to keep things in larger chunks like this. And you notice how they're all, you know, straight edges. They're not 90-degree angles or 45s or whatever that measurement is. Geometry was not my favorite class. It works, right? Everything has a nice straight edge, so if I wanted to sew a bunch of crumb blocks or something, it's nice and even. Thank you, everyone. Tammy, isn't it fun to see everyone else's fabrics? We tend to shop in similar places, but when either I have older fabrics from the Walmart age or someone else will send me some scrap fabrics, then there's threads everywhere. Then it's fun to see what someone else has. And if you're in another country, it's even better because you probably have different fabrics. I don't always buy big name brands, you know, Tula Pink, Riley Blake. I do love them, and I'm finding the people, the designers that I like. What is it, Ma and Me Designs? Nope, that's a pattern person. I love that pattern maker on Etsy. Me and My Sisters, I think, is a fabric designer. I love their fabrics. There is something for everyone, Laura, correct? Like this, chances are someone's not going to want this in their quilt, but I think it's fun, and it's also fun to go on the back of a zipper pouch, which is why I purchased it. I don't know if I made Christmas stars out of this with my patrons. Speaking of which, you guys have another video. I've decided all of the Friday videos in November, because I need to start working on the Advent patterns this week and next week. That's one of the things I've been avoiding. I need to start working on the Advent videos, I should say. So all your Friday videos are going to be Patreon videos this month. So I hope you guys enjoy seeing them. I don't even know what this is doing. I tried to find ones that are like quilting related. I think it's some type of a 9-patch video this week. I'd have to look it up to see exactly what it is. I think it's a different way. You know how you can do 9 patches by doing the strips, or you can do it by doing the squares. I think in this one I'm showing you how to use strip sets but make only one block. It's 3 years old for the video. A lot of times my patrons and I will go and we'll find a free pattern online and I'll make that. Because it's a Patreon video, I don't like to do it too much anymore here on YouTube. Just to, I don't know, I think it's okay. Some designers and bloggers get mad if you use a free pattern in a video. So I kind of compromise by using it in Patreon because it's a limited number of people then seeing it, I guess. It's probably just cheating, but, well, you know, that's what I did. I changed things up since I first started, and things are a little bit different. So I want to do the 6.5 and then the 4.5, but there's selvage. And I've been thinking about different things, like how I've felt here on YouTube this year. And, you know, there's times when not a lot of people are watching. Like in the summertime, most YouTube channels slow down because people are out and about doing stuff and going on vacation. I was thinking that if I did the tutorials during the busy time, and then on the slow time in the summer, when I feel like I'm making tutorials and nobody's going to see them, it's kind of a waste of time and energy if you put out a video that less people watch. Then in the summertime, I can do more of that vloggy style, but my version, you know, where we just pull out a bunch of fabrics and make something, talk a little bit or something like this. And then during the summer, we can be more relaxed. And then in the busy season, because when you really like a fabric, you just buy more of it, then we can do that. So put these two together. I like this aqua-y type color in the background, and the oranges with the gnomes and stuff is really fun. And even though it has Christmas trees, I'd probably try to sneak that in on a non-Christmas time. Candy cane's fun. See what I mean here, where I just did not trim up the fabric anywhere. I just left it like this. It's okay. Let me turn it this way to make it more realistic. I'll do 6.5 wide and 4.5 tall this way. I have all the videos listed out in my planner. I have them set to a certain schedule, but I might change it up, and I might change a couple of the videos. This is like crooked. So what I'm trying to do for Advent is, instead of opening the Advent gifts, I'll do that either on Instagram or Patreon this year. My friend and I are just kind of doing it a little bit more relaxed. And then I'll do quick videos, and I'm going to do my best to have minimal talking during them. I can't do no talking. But the videos for the Advent, so you'll get at least 24 of them in December, are meant to be quick projects that you can make last minute. If you're going somewhere for Christmas and you need to make a handmade gift, or you just ran out of time and ambition, or whatever the reason, you'll have these quick videos, and I'll link them back to a video that I've already made with all of the extra tips and tricks and chatter. So it's kind of the best of both worlds that way. I don't think I'll ever stop being chatty, but at the same time, I would like to get some quicker, less chatty videos. So that's, you know, a little something for everyone. Next year, I mean, what did I say? I think we're 9 years old here on YouTube. I think that was the anniversary in October. So it's good to change things up periodically to keep things fresh. YouTube, once again, is changing all kinds of stuff. So all the rules are changing again. Etsy's changing. Everyone's changing. Ever tell you I really don't care much for change? All right, I'm going to call this one my last fabric. So if anyone has any questions, comments, or chatter. I have that much fabric left to go through. And if I'm making, we're just going to go with that rounded number. You need an even number. So if I'm making 26 of the tree blocks, that would be, all right, I know I'm doing this math wrong. Oh, it would be 13 sets of 2. So it'd still be 26 fabrics? I don't know. But I need 26 blocks times 3. And each block takes 2 fabrics, but you get 2. You know, that's where I get myself confused, and then I start double thinking things, and I don't know. I'm going to get mirror blocks, so for every 2 pieces of fabric, I'll get 2 blocks. So that means each quilt needs 25 fabrics, right? Or 26 fabrics for an even number. However it works, I still have a lot of fun little blocks in here. Like this one might not go because I don't think I was going to put that in anything. To cut a tree out of that, you're going to lose what it looks like, you know, the appearance wise. So I don't think that's going to work. And then the one with the lights on it, it has a blue background. That's a different kind of light, but we have this background and the one with the black lights on it that is buried somewhere. Here it is. So it had, oh yeah, see, they're all different. There's one with just the circles like this on a black background and the actual lights on a white background. But I just have a bunch of those, so I thought these would work out really well for the blocks. Ambition. Yeah, there's so many ideas and so many things. I'm going to order myself. I've been looking at notebooks on Amazon. I want to get a notebook that I can put video ideas in and then like maybe work backwards or have 2 sections. So I want Etsy ideas in one and video ideas in the other because I write them down or save them on Instagram or Pinterest and then I never remember them. So I want a place to jot ideas down so I can just keep it on my desk. Hi, Tellus Realm. We're just getting ready to finish up, but you can always catch the replay to see what we've been working on today. So I want to get myself some type of, I've just been looking for different planners. I think I just going to get like a journal. I thought about getting another one of these, but I don't need all of this. I like this section, so I found one that has something similar to this. This part's on the right, so I can write things down and maybe I can put the date that I posted it or a little note, like make it 4x6 or something like that. Because this over here with the dates and the to-do list it's a waste for me for a project notebook. So I looked at project journals and I just looked at various journals on Amazon, and I think I'm just gonna get something that's kind of blank with lines in it, just a blank journal, and go by that. And I'm hoping, because this journaling thing is a yearly thing, I like to try it for several months and see how it works through the whole year as we pause for the Air Force to fly by. I try to edit most of this out of my videos. They've been flying really low. That's just an average one. They flew low enough last week that it made the house rattle. Robbie was outside. He said he could see the control panel inside the cockpit. That's how low they were to the house. It was kind of cool. They don't fly that low all the time. It's a special thing they do. So yeah, if you use a planner, it's like if you only make 1 quilt a year, how can you get proficient and figure out what you need to do if you only put binding on once a year? If it takes you a whole year to make a quilt, how can you perfect your binding technique? That's why I always recommend doing it like mug rugs and mini quilts and pillows and stuff, so you can practice those techniques and then incorporate it into your quilt. Doesn't help that I also look for the cheapest journal because I'm not going to spend $30 just to take notes. So I find ones that are like $5 and $7. All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me and for hanging out with me so long today. Friday's video will be up at the normal time, and then we'll go live 11 a.m. Arizona time on Saturday, where we'll actually be sewing all of these fabric into trees. I'll show you again how to cut them, and then we'll sew them together. And down in the description box of this video is the link to the video to make the tree blocks. They're really popular. I see them popping up on Instagram all the time. So if you make one, tag me over on Instagram. I'd love to see it. And I'll see you guys later. Enjoy what's left of your day.